everybody, it's BC Begley, and these are your news headlines for November the 29th of 2022. Iran allegedly threatened World Cup players and their families ahead of U.S. match. The Iranian government has reportedly threatened its national soccer team and the players' families. The United States plays Iran on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox in a must-win game for the Americans to advance. Iran would move on to the knockout stage with either a win or a tie. Qatar says worker deaths for the World Cup between 400 and 500. A top Qatari official involved in the country's World Cup organization has put the number of worker deaths for the tournament between 400 and 500 for the first time, a drastically higher number than any other previously offered by Doha. The dead just keep coming as violence overwhelms Mexico's morgues. In a dark, windowless room with no air conditioning in southern Mexico, thousands of bones of unidentified people encapsulate the crisis of a forensic system that is overwhelmed by the violent crime there. Lawsuit alleges billionaire investor Leon Black raped a woman inside Jeffrey Epstein's home. Billionaire investor Leon Black has been sued by a woman alleging he brutally raped her at Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan townhouse back in the spring of 2002. Christians are now a minority in England as the non-religious grow. Fewer than half the people in England and Wales now consider themselves Christian, according to the most recent census. This is the first time the country's official religion has been followed by a minority of the population. The Book of Psalms saved a victim's life in Jerusalem terror attack. A man who was seriously injured in Tuesday's Jerusalem bombing was spared from what could have been a fatal fate by none other than his Book of Psalms, which blocked a shard of debris from piercing his body. Global yield curve inverts and signal a recession is brewing. Global bonds joined U.S. peers in signaling a recession, with a gauge measuring the worldwide yield curve inverting for the first time in at least 2 decades. Russia warns the U.S. that its deeper involvement in Ukraine brings growing risk. Russia is trying to make the United States understand that Washington's increasing involvement in the Ukraine conflict carries growing risks, Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkovich said on Tuesday, according to Russian news agencies. Italian far-right PM forges ahead with reporter defamation trial. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni said she will not withdraw her defamation suit against journalist Roberto Saviano in an interview published on Tuesday, despite criticism that her position of power makes it an unfair trial. Virginia Representative Donald McEachin dies at age 61. United States Representative Donald McEachin, a Virginia Democrat, died on Monday, according to a statement from his office. He was 61 years old. A former police officer allegedly catfishes teen girl online and then kills her family. A former Virginia police officer allegedly catfished a teen girl online before then traveling to Riverside, California and killing her family, according to police. More than 40 million under threat for severe storms that could whip up tornadoes, hail, and damaging winds in the South. Severe storms are expected to deliver the potential for a monstrous trio of tornadoes, damaging winds, and hail to millions of people across parts of the Southeast and Mississippi Valley beginning Tuesday afternoon, forecasters are warning. Police discover remains of 4 infants in a Boston apartment. The remains of 4 infants were found in an apartment in Boston earlier this month, according to police. Boston police discovered what appeared to be a human fetus or infant inside an apartment freezer after officers responded to a call on the afternoon of November 17th to investigate the residence at 838 East Broadway in South Boston. Arizona Secretary of State sues GOP-controlled county over refusal to certify election results. Arizona Secretary of State Katie Hobbs sued a Republican-controlled County on Monday after it refused to certify its election results by the state's statutory deadline. Texas woman found by family 51 years after being kidnapped as a baby. More than 50 years after her babysitter kidnapped her as a baby in Texas, a U.S. woman has reunited with her family, who tracked their missing loved one down with a DNA test and without help from law enforcement or other outside involvement. NATO commits to future Ukraine membership, drums up aid. NATO allies reaffirmed their commitment to Ukraine on Tuesday, saying that the war-torn nation will one day become a member of the world's largest security alliance and promising more help from winter aid to artillery to help Ukraine's beleaguered armed forces to fight off Russia. The U.S. will help repair decimated Ukraine electrical grid. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken announced a $53 million in fresh assistance to help restore Ukraine's power grid. Blinken arrived in Romania on Monday evening ahead of meetings with NATO allies and group of 7 foreign ministers. 3 people found sitting on ship's rudder survived an 11-day voyage from Nigeria. The Spanish Coast Guard has rescued 3 people who were stowed on top of the rudder of a ship that arrived in the Canary Islands, from Nigeria. Wow. Guys, all the links for the articles that I have covered in this video, they can be found in the description. Also, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And you can also find more news stories at my website, which is bcbegley.com. You guys have a wonderful day.